welcome. You're watching the Small and Mid Cap Show. I am Mahima Vachrajani. Well, we're going to speak to two very interesting management today, that is Tejas Networks and Patanjali Foods. First up, we have Tejas Network, and we are joined by Mr. Anand S Athreya, CEO and MD at Tejas Networks, and we're also joined by Mr. Sumit Dhingra, the CFO at Tejas Networks. Welcome to the show, gentlemen. Mr. Anand, I'll start with you. Amazing set of numbers. Revenue has grown 8 times. Profit. You've witnessed a profit of 77 crores versus loss of 25 crores. Give us some color as to how the quarter has gone by and what has led to the significant growth.
Good morning and thanks for having us. The quarter has gone well. What led to the growth was our execution on the BSNL wireless 4G project. That is well on its way. That was a very significant contribution to that growth.
Right. One more thing, Mr. Anand, sequentially your margins have come off a bit. Q4 you had witnessed a good margin versus this year. Now, where do you expect overall FY25 margins to be at? And if you see an upside to this margin, what will be the levers?
So I'll start and then I'll let Sumit chime in.
Sure.
So look, we don't give any guidance on margins. I think our goal is always to have good, healthy margins. And as we get more customers and a mix of both domestic and international, private and government, you would see the margin, balancing well going forward. But right now we are just focused on, executing the projects and with good cost controls. Sumit?
Yeah. So I think in specific, this quarter we did about 15% EBITDA margin. Now, if you look at compared to the previous year, obviously we were at negative EBITDA at that time. So there's an improvement. Also, one thing to keep in mind is that when you're comparing versus the previous quarter, we had recognized PLI income in the previous quarter for incentives for FY23 and FY24. Based on clarity that we would be able to get those incentives. Now this quarter only has for PLI recognition for this quarter only. So that sort of factors in the dip in percentage margins, if I can say that, from previous quarter to the current quarter. After also having said that, I think the other factor that plays a role is project execution. When you look at the numbers quarter on quarter or year on year basis, these are always blended numbers. So depending on the projects that get executed, the deliveries that get done during the quarter, margin would move a little bit here and there. But as our revenue scale up, as we diversify our customer base, you'd see that hopefully there'll be more predictability and steadiness in the margins.
Got that, sir. This is Rucha Somaya joining you guys. Thanks for joining us on the show. Next question that I want to ask is on the BSNL and the BharatNet deal. So what kind of revenue do you expect in the near term going ahead? Because last time you had mentioned about the conversion into revenue by FY25. So do you still stick to that? What kind of progress is on these two deals?
So on the BSNL, we are executing, this particular part of the contract. And we expect to get some add-on sites, in the coming month or quarter. So that's one thing. On the BharatNet, I believe we are in the tender process right now. So that, it's not in the bag, and we are working very hard to be part of that.
Right. Mr. Dhingra, your closing backlog is roughly 7,000 odd crores. So I want to understand that, what will be the execution timelines for the same, and when do you expect to start recognizing revenue for the same? Okay.
So see, 7,091 crores of order book at the end of the quarter. Now, a large part of this is BSNL 4G project. As we mentioned earlier, we expect this project to get completed from a shipment point of view within this year. So significant execution of about 75-80% of the order book is likely to happen this year itself.
Right, sir. So little bit of margin dilution that you mentioned going ahead because of the deal going into FY25. So will it stay around the 15% levels, or do you expect a little bit of dip here on?
See, our projects, while we generally don't give project-specific guidelines or the guidance on margins. But I think generally the current project, the wireless project being first project from our perspective, the margins are slightly lower than the rest of the business. As we go along, execute this project on a percentage basis, margins and also given the size of the order book, size of the order, percentage wise, the margins may be a bit lower, but on an aggregate basis or an absolute basis, it would still be a reasonable number, and we'd expect to continue to maintain that trend.
All right. Mr. Anand, my next question is to you. Your international business has seen a dip of roughly 4% this quarter. And, I want to understand that what are the kind of headwinds that you're facing there, one thing. And do you expect that international business contribution will go up in FY25? And if yes, by how much? And what will be the levers for the growth of international business?
Yeah, look, today the international business is a very small percentage given the size of the big BSNL deal. But what we are doing is we are investing in sales and marketing, building the teams out, having relationship with customers, potential customers, to see if we can win more business there. As we mentioned in our earnings, we actually won a tier 2 service provider. We are well in testing right now, and we hope to see that converted to revenue. And then there are others who are talking to us. This is going to take time, right? This is not something that's going to happen overnight. But this is one of those cases there where we have to continuously engage, build out the teams, get through the testing, and then you will start seeing that growth there. And I mean, our aspiration is that at some point we want international business to be a significant portion of our total revenue.
All right. Moving on, expansion of network backbone in the utilities segment is what you had mentioned as one of the levers going ahead. So I just want to know what kind of percentage of the total revenue will that be going ahead into FY25 for your business?
See, these are opportunities that we're chasing right now in active pursuit of some of these. Now, whether there are two parts to it. First, when do they really materialize in terms of getting reflected in the order book? Some of it could be 25 and some could be in 26. And, revenue size would also depend on the final contract. So hardly, sort of difficult to give the contribution to revenue at this stage.
Right, all right.
Mr. Dhingra, I want to understand from the financial side of things, you're sitting on a cash of almost 600 odd crores, which is quite a significant number. So I want to understand that where will this cash be put to utilization for? Are you expecting any kind of organic expansions going forward?
So, yes, we have cash of about 600 odd crores, and I think some of it is getting used for execution of the project for our working capital requirements. Over the last few quarters, we've increased our borrowings as well, particularly on the working capital side. So some of the cash is going to get utilized there. And as we continue to invest in building our teams, in building our products, we'll look to utilize this cash for that purpose as well. While, whether it is organic, inorganic, we'll remain open to all the situations. And yeah.
Right. So talking about inorganic expansion over here, what kind of progress is there on the amalgamation with Sankhya Labs, number one? And on the other side, I also want to ask in the large deal front. So two large deals that we have with BSNL and BharatNet. So any kind of talks over here for the near term that can be converted into the revenue growth going ahead?
So, so the first thing on Sankhya, the integration is going well. We got clearance from NCLT, so I think we're waiting for the orders. The teams are, integrated, and we are continuously integrating the teams into Tejas. So that is actually well on its way. On the BharatNet, as I said, right, it's still in the tendering process, so we have to bid, win, so we can't bake that in yet. But again, we are doing everything to ensure that, we have a good shot at it. On the BSNL, as I said, we are waiting for the repeat order. We are just focusing on execution of the current one. And then as we do, we hope to get, additional orders.
So you are planning to get more order from the BSNL within the FY25 is what you're looking at right now?
Well, we don't know about the timelines yet. Right now, as I said, we are just focusing on executing the current one.
Okay.
Right. So, Mr. Anand, now I want to understand with respect to the key opportunities segment, you're targeting expansion in terms of, the BSNL's 4G backhaul network, the BharatNet Phase 3, the Indian Railways coverage. What are the kind of overall conversions, in these key opportunity areas that you're expecting, and what kind of revenue growth are you expecting out of all of these opportunities?
So look, we don't give guidance. I think all we would like to do is to ensure we have a good, complete portfolio, and that we have a seat at the table and opportunity, and have a good shot at every opportunity that comes. And some of it we're going to win all, and some may be partial. But again, once you have the portfolio, I believe the rest will come.
Okay. Coming to the wireline business, you have won 2 strategic deals, one with the tier 2 operator in the US and also with an operator in Southeast Asia for the broadband rollout. So what kind of revenue growth do you expect it to ramp up soon in the near term, or is it like kind of a long-term strategic deal win over here?
So it's usually these are all multi-year deals, and then once you get through the testing and you're qualified, you're integrated into their systems, then I think we'll start getting repeat orders from them.
Right. My next question is for both of you gentlemen. I mean, both of you can take it up one after the other. The budget is expected to be announced tomorrow. What are your expectations with respect to this particular budget? Particularly with respect to your industry as well as, your overall expectations.
Yeah, I think over the past few years, we've seen government proactively take measures for driving growth, for driving domestic manufacturing, promoting Make in India and Atmanirbhar. So at a broader level, I think we would expect the similar strategy or the similar approach to continue. And that would work well for companies like us as well. We've been beneficiaries of the PLI scheme, and we'd hope to see continuation of similar schemes as we go forward, which supports domestic manufacturing.
Okay. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for taking our time and speaking with us at NDTV Profit and giving us those insights on Tejas Networks. But with that, it's time to slip into a short break. On the other side, we will be speaking to the management of Patanjali Foods about quarter gone by and the way forward. Stay tuned.